Hi Capricorn, welcome back to Moonveil Tarot. And if you're new here, hello and welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. Okay, let's get into your reading, Capricorn. The avoidance has nothing to do with how they feel about you. It has everything to do with how they feel about themselves when they're around you. And I need you to receive that before we pull a single card. Because the specific person this reading is about, the one keeping their distance, the one who shows up and then pulls back, the one whose behavior has been confusing and contradictory and impossible to fully understand, is not avoiding you because you're not enough. They're avoiding you because you're too much, and too much in the most specific and the most significant way possible. You carry something, a quality, an energy, the specific presence of someone who is operating at a high level, high vibrational, high in their own identity, clear about their own power. And that quality in you does something to people who haven't done the work of knowing their own. It shows them the gap, and the gap between where you are and where they are energetically is the secret they're hiding. Not a secret about you, a secret about themselves, about what your presence reveals in them, about how inadequate they feel standing next to someone who doesn't dim themselves. And the avoidance is the management of that feeling, keeping the distance to keep the gap invisible to themselves and to you. And I want to name something before we pull cards, because this reading is going to show you things about this person that are not flattering, not because they're a bad person, but because the truth of why powerful people get avoided has everything to do with the other person's work that hasn't been done. And understanding that truth fully, completely, without minimizing it, is the gift this reading offers. Because when you understand the real reason for the avoidance, you stop making yourself smaller to make it stop, and you start understanding it as the confirmation of your power that it actually is. Drop a comment right now and say, I claim this. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do that now and turn on that notification bell. Okay, let's pull an oracle card first, then we get into the tarot. Okay, first oracle card. They feel things for you that they have never felt for anyone, and that terrifies them. And your guides led with this because it's the foundation of everything the reading is going to show. Because the avoidance isn't coming from absence of feeling, it's coming from the overwhelming presence of it. And this is the specific paradox of being a powerful being in someone else's world. The more real you are to them, the more real the feeling, the more overwhelming the feeling becomes. And overwhelming feelings in someone who doesn't know how to hold overwhelming feelings produce avoidance, because the feelings arrive like a wave, and waves that are bigger than what someone is used to holding make them step back from the water. And stepping back from the water when the water is you looks like avoidance from the outside, and it is avoidance. But the secret underneath the avoidance is the size of the feeling that produced it. And I want to stay with this oracle card because the never felt for anyone piece is significant. Because this person has navigated other connections, has felt things before, has managed relationships without being in this specific kind of overwhelm. And then there's you. And the feeling you produce in them has a quality that nothing previous has prepared them for. And being unprepared for the size of a feeling is disorienting. And disoriented people create distance to orient themselves. And the distance they've created is the specific disorientation of someone encountering a level of feeling they have no existing framework for managing. Okay, second oracle card. Your power makes them see their own lack of it, and they haven't accepted that yet. And this is the oracle card that names the secret they're hiding. Because the secret isn't about you. The secret is about them Specifically, the specific ways they haven't grown yet, the specific work they haven't done, the specific emotional and personal development that being near you makes impossible to ignore. Because powerful beings have a mirror quality. They show people who they actually are. Not by trying to, just by being themselves so completely that the contrast becomes visible. And what the contrast is showing this person about themselves is the gap. The specific gap between where you are and where they haven't yet arrived. And people who see their own gap clearly and haven't accepted it yet, manage the discomfort of seeing it by managing the distance from the mirror. And I want to stay with this oracle card because the not accepted yet piece carries important information. Because not accepted yet means the acceptance is possible. And acceptance of the gap, the specific moment of someone looking at where they haven't grown and deciding to close the gap rather than avoid the mirror, is what produces the internal work. And the internal work is what produces the change in their behavior toward you. And whether that acceptance and that work happen is entirely in their hands. And your job is not to wait for it. Your job is to keep being the mirror at full brightness and let them decide what to do with what they see. Okay, third oracle card. They were taught to hide their feelings, and your presence makes that hiding impossible. And your guides are going deeper here into the origin of the avoidance. Because the avoidance didn't start with you. It started much earlier. In a time when this person learned that feelings were something to be managed, contained, not expressed, not through one dramatic moment, but through the accumulated message of many small ones, that being emotional was weakness, that vulnerability was dangerous, that hiding what you feel was safer than showing it, and that learning became a blueprint, a specific pattern of how to navigate closeness by keeping what's real on the inside and presenting something more controlled on the outside. And the blueprint worked until you. Because your energy doesn't allow the blueprint to function. Because being around someone this powerful, this clear in their own self, this unapologetically real, makes the managed exterior difficult to maintain. And difficult to maintain means the avoidance is the backup strategy. If I can't maintain the management near you, I'll maintain the distance from you instead. And I want to stay with this oracle card because the childhood pattern piece matters for how you understand the avoidance going forward. Because what was installed in childhood doesn't shift easily. And this person's pattern of emotional hiding is not a choice they're making consciously about you. It's a reflex, a deeply practiced response to the feeling of emotional exposure. And you produce emotional exposure in them simply by existing near them. And the reflex response to emotional exposure is the blueprint. Hide, manage, pull back, maintain the controlled surface. And pull back is what the avoidance looks like from outside the blueprint. And understanding that doesn't make the avoidance okay, but it makes it understandable as something about them and not about you. Okay, fourth oracle card, the contradiction you're experiencing, them coming close and then pulling away, is the war between the feeling and the blueprint. And your guides are naming the specific confusion of the experience because the avoidance doesn't look consistent. They come toward you and then pull back. They show warmth and then go cold. They make it clear they feel something and then act like they don't. And the inconsistency has been genuinely confusing because behavior that contradicts itself is hard to make sense of. And the sense to make of it is this: you're watching a war between the feeling and the blueprint. The feeling says go toward her. Be real. Let the wall come down. And the blueprint says, protect yourself. Don't expose what you feel. Pull back before the exposure becomes complete. And the oscillation you've been experiencing, the coming and going, the warm and cold, is not manipulation. It's the war playing out in real time with you as the witness. Okay, fifth oracle card. Your power is not the problem, it's the invitation to them to rise. And your guides are making the most important reframe of the entire reading, because the power you carry, the thing that produces the overwhelm and the mirror effect and the war between feeling and blueprint, is not something you need to manage or dim or make more comfortable for them. It is an invitation, and the invitation is rise, do the work, close the gap, learn how to hold the size of the feeling, heal the blueprint that says feelings are weakness, become the person who can stand next to you without needing to manage the distance. And whether they accept the invitation is their choice, and your job is to keep extending it simply by being who you are, fully, brightly, without apology, and trusting that the invitation is doing its work, whether they accept it now or later. The Ten of Wands, the Empress, the Moon, the Two of Cups, the Hermit, the Eight of Cups, the Star, the Ten of Wands, and the Ten of Wands in this position is showing me what this person carries when they're in your orbit. And the Ten of Wands is the card of the person who is carrying too much. The burden card, the I have taken on more than I can comfortably hold card. And what they're carrying that feels like too much when they're near you is the full weight of what you make them feel. Every feeling they normally manage successfully becomes unmanageable near you. Every emotional layer they keep beneath the surface pushes upward. And the cumulative weight of all of that feeling trying to surface while the blueprint is pushing it back down is the Ten of Wands. It's exhausting to carry. And the exhaustion is the primary driver of the pulling back. Not because you're too much for the world, but because you're too much for someone who hasn't built the capacity to carry what you make them feel, without it overwhelming them. And I want to stay with the Ten of Wands because there's something here about what would relieve the burden, because the Ten of Wands person needs to put something down. And what they need to put down is not the feeling. The feeling won't go anywhere regardless. What they need to put down is the blueprint. The pattern that says feelings must be managed rather than expressed. Because the managing of the feeling in the presence of the Empress energy you carry is what makes the weight Ten of Wands heavy. And if the managing stopped, if the blueprint was set down, the weight wouldn't be the Ten of Wands anymore. It would be the full cup of feeling finally having somewhere honest to go. And the Empress in this position is you. Exactly you. And the Empress is not a gentle or modest card. The Empress is the full, complete, powerful, abundant, undiminished version of feminine energy. And this card appearing in a reading about why someone avoids you is your guides placing the answer right in front of you. They avoid you because you are the Empress, because you carry the specific quality of someone who knows their worth, who doesn't apologize for taking up space, who exists at full volume. And the Empress quality is undeniable. It cannot be ignored. It cannot be managed around. And being unable to manage around something when management is the entire blueprint is the root of the avoidance in its most complete form. And I want to stay with the Empress because your guides are asking you to receive this card fully. Because the Empress appearing here is not just an explanation of their avoidance, it's a confirmation of who you are. And the confirmation is, don't diminish the Empress. Don't make yourself smaller so that the Ten of Wands person feels more comfortable. Don't dim the quality that makes you impossible to manage around, because the Empress at full power is not the problem. It is the solution. It is the invitation. And invitations that produce discomfort in others are not invitations to stop extending them. They're invitations to keep being exactly who you are and trust the discomfort to do its work. And the moon is their hidden inner world, the private experience of what they feel about you that is not being expressed. And what the moon is showing me is the opposite of the avoidance, because the avoidance is the external behavior, and the moon's inner world is the internal reality. And the internal reality is full of feeling, of specific thoughts about you, of the specific quality of wanting to be near you and being overwhelmed by the wanting. And the gap between the moon's inner world, full, warm, specific in its feeling, and the external behavior, avoidant, managed, pulling back, is the entire size of the blueprint. And the blueprint is large, but the feeling in the moon's hidden world is larger. And larger things eventually find their way out. And the Two of Cups in this reading is the destination. What becomes available if the blueprint comes down and the internal work gets done and the overwhelming feeling finds a healthy container? And the Two of Cups is two people in the same honest space, both present, both real, both carrying their full feeling in the shared space between them without one of them managing the other back to a safe distance. And the Two of Cups appearing in a reading about an avoider is your guides showing you the full arc of what's possible. The avoidance is where they are now. The Two of Cups is where they could be. And the distance between those two places is the internal work they haven't yet done. And whether they do it is the question the reading cannot answer for you. But the Two of Cups being visible is the universe confirming it is available, and the Hermit in this position is the specific inner work this person needs to do. And the Hermit is the cave, the going inward, the examining, the sitting with the difficult truths about yourself. That presence of you keeps surfacing for them. And whether they go into the cave willingly, whether they choose the Hermit's work, is entirely up to them, because the cave cannot be entered for someone else. It requires a specific decision. I am going to look at what I've been hiding and understand it and do something about it, that only the person who needs to make it can make. And your presence is the invitation to the cave. And the avoidance is what happens when the invitation is received, but the entering is refused. And the Hermit card in this reading is the universe holding the invitation open and waiting for the entering to begin. And the Eight of Cups is the walking away. And in this position, the Eight of Cups is showing me the choice this person is currently making to turn away from what they feel rather than toward it. And the walking away of the Eight of Cups isn't dramatic or angry. It's the quiet, tired, this is too much for me stepping back. And the Eight of Cups person leaves not because they don't care, but because they don't yet know how to stay. And staying requires the work the Hermit represents. And the Eight of Cups is the alternative to the Hermit's work, the path of stepping back from what overwhelms rather than building the capacity to hold it. And right now they are somewhere between the Eight of Cups and the Hermit. Still deciding, still oscillating between walking toward and walking away. And the oscillation is what the fourth oracle card named the war between the feeling and the blueprint. And the star in this reading is for you, not for them, for you specifically. The star is the hope that is yours to maintain, not about whether they'll do the work or whether the Two of Cups becomes real or whether the oscillation resolves in your favor, but hope about yourself, about your own power, about the correctness of being the Empress at full brightness. And the star appearing here is your guide saying, the hope you need to tend is the one about you, about your worth being real, regardless of what this person decides, about your power being an asset and not a liability, regardless of who it overwhelms. And the star burning for you is the universe confirming that the powerful being you are is exactly what was intended and requires no adjustment for the comfort of people who haven't done the work to stand next to you yet. Okay, tea leaf cards. 6 of them. First tea leaf card, the avoidance visible in specific behaviors and the secret visible underneath every one of them. And this is the central tea leaf image, the avoidance pattern made visible in the specific behaviors you've been experiencing. The pulling back after warmth, the going quiet after a moment of real connection, the suddenly busy after they got too close. And each one of those behaviors has the secret underneath it. I felt too much. You showed me too much of myself. I don't know how to hold this, so I'm putting distance between us to make it manageable. And every instance of the avoidance behavior is the blueprint activating in response to the feeling your Empress energy produces. And seeing it clearly, not as rejection but as activated blueprint, is the first step in no longer taking it as information about your worth. Next tea leaf card, them wanting to come toward you and stopping themselves in a specific moment you probably noticed. And this tea leaf card is about a specific moment, one you noticed, one where something was almost said or almost done or almost expressed, where the feeling got close enough to the surface that the stopping of it was visible, a pause too long, a look that held something, a start of something that got pulled back. And what almost came through in that moment is the moon's full inner world getting close enough to the surface to be almost visible. And the almost visible is the feeling asserting itself against the blueprint. And the pulling back is the blueprint winning the round. And your guides are showing you that moment specifically because it is the evidence that what they feel is larger than what the management is designed to contain. Next tea leaf card, the work they need to do and whether they choose to do it. Becoming clearer in this season, and this tea leaf card is about the trajectory of what's ahead for this person. Because the oscillation, the war between the feeling and the blueprint reaches a resolution point eventually. And the resolution point is a decision. Do I do the work that being near this person is asking of me? Or do I continue to manage the distance to avoid doing it? And the resolution is becoming clearer in this season for them, not because of anything you've done, because the weight of the 10 of Wands accumulates, and carrying too much for too long forces the question, what am I willing to put down? And the answer determines everything about what comes next between you. Next tea leaf card, your power not being the problem, being the catalyst, and the difference mattering. And this tea leaf card is for you specifically. And the distinction your guides are making is significant because a problem is something to be solved, diminished, managed, and a catalyst is something that produces change in what it contacts. And the change you produce in this person, the surfacing of the gap, the activation of the blueprint, the invitation to do the work, is not a problem. It is the catalyst doing exactly what catalysts do. And whether the chemical reaction the catalyst produces completes itself is not in the catalyst's control. And it is not in your control. and it is not your responsibility. And knowing you are the catalyst and not the problem is the specific shift in understanding that changes how you carry the avoidance. Next tea leaf card. The truth they're hiding becoming harder to maintain, cracks forming. And this tea leaf card is about the sustainability of the avoidance. Because maintaining a blueprint around powerful beings is exhausting. Because the powerful being keeps producing the feeling the blueprint is trying to contain. And the feeling keeps pressing against the containment. And containment under that kind of consistent pressure develops cracks. And the cracks in the blueprint are the moments of almost visible feeling you've been witnessing. And the cracks are getting wider. Not because you're doing anything to widen them, just because the pressure of the feeling has been consistent long enough that the containment's structural integrity is becoming genuinely questionable. And the last tea leaf card, you staying at full power, and the staying at full power being the right move. And your guides ended here because it's the most direct instruction of the reading. Stay at full power. Don't adjust the Empress energy to make the avoidance more comfortable. Don't dim the quality that makes you impossible to manage around. Don't stop being the mirror. Because the mirror is the invitation. And the invitation is the most powerful thing you can offer this person. Not by trying to offer it, just by continuing to be fully yourself. And the fully yourself quality, the powerful being quality, the Empress quality, is both the cause of the avoidance and the only possible cure for it. Because the cure for avoidance caused by someone's power is not the dimming of the power. It is the rising of the one who is doing the avoiding. Okay, final messages from your guides. 6 cards. The avoidance is not rejection. Receive it as what it actually is. And your guides want this to be the first message because it changes everything about how you've been receiving the experience. Because avoidance that looks like rejection feels like rejection, and feeling like rejection can produce the instinct to change yourself, to be less, to take up less space, to make yourself more manageable. And your guides are drawing a very clear line. This is not rejection. This is overwhelm. And overwhelm is produced by the specific quality of encountering something too large for your current capacity. And too large for their current capacity is not a description of your flaw. It is a description of their growth edge. And receiving it as their growth edge, rather than your rejection, is the reframe this entire reading was designed to give you. Next final card. Do not make yourself smaller. Your power is protecting you, not harming you. And your guides are being very direct with this message. Because the natural response to being avoided is to wonder what would make the avoidance stop. And the wondering can produce the instinct to adjust, to be less bright, less powerful, less fully yourself. And your guides are saying, no, because the power is not what's causing the problem. The power is what's protecting you, because someone who can't stand next to you at full power without avoidance is someone who hasn't done the work to be safe, to be fully near. And the avoidance is the power protecting you from full proximity with someone who isn't yet ready for it. And the protection is the power doing its job correctly. Next final card. Their work is theirs to do. You cannot do it for them, and your guides are releasing you from a specific weight. Because powerful beings sometimes feel responsible for the discomfort their power produces in others. Feel like if they understood better or communicated better or waited more patiently, they could help the avoider do the work the avoider needs to do. And your guides are saying very clearly you cannot do it for them. and trying to do it for them doesn't help them. It removes the discomfort that is the motivation for the work. And the work requires the discomfort to motivate it. And the most loving thing you can do is to continue being exactly who you are, which keeps the discomfort present, which keeps the invitation open, which gives them the maximum opportunity to do the work on their own timeline. Next, final card. The powerful being you are was always the plan. Trust it. And your guides are naming something about your identity that the avoidance might have made you question, because being consistently avoided by someone you feel something for can produce quiet questions. Am I too much? Would things be easier if I were less? Is the power actually a gift, or is it a barrier? And your guides are answering every one of those questions directly. The powerful being you are was the plan, not an accident, not something that developed by mistake, not something that needs to be corrected or managed or made more comfortable for the world. The plan. And plans that produce discomfort in people who encounter them are not plans that need to be revised. They're plans that need to be trusted to produce the results they were designed to produce. Next, final card. Save this and drop a comment when the avoidance shifts. Save this reading right now. Bookmark it. Share it today. Because when you share something like this, what comes back is tenfold. And when the avoidance shifts, when the cracks in the blueprint become visible, when the oscillation moves more toward than away, when the hermit's work begins and you can feel it in how they show up, drop a comment. Tell us what changed. Tell us when you stopped taking the avoidance as rejection and started receiving it as their invitation to rise. Because someone watching this right now is in the same confusion, and knowing yours resolved gives them the framework to understand their own. And the very last card, you are a powerful being. The avoidance is the proof, and nothing about you needs to change. You are a powerful being, and the avoidance is the proof. And nothing about you needs to change. And your guides saved the most complete truth for last. Because the whole reading, the 10 of Wands and the Empress and the Moon and the 2 of Cups and the Hermit and the 8 of Cups and the Star, all of it says the same thing in different ways. You are too powerful for someone who hasn't done their work to stand comfortably near. And that is not a flaw. And it is not a liability, and it is not something to be corrected. It is the most complete possible confirmation of what you carry. And what you carry is real, and it is significant, and it is doing exactly what significant things do, producing a response in the people who encounter it that reflects the size of what they've encountered. And the size of what they've encountered is you fully, at full power, exactly as planned. And nothing about that needs to change. Okay, to bring this home, someone in your life avoids you. And the secret they're hiding is about you. And the secret is that you are a powerful being. And the cards showed us everything. The oracle cards showed us the full picture. They feel things for you they've never felt for anyone, and it terrifies them. Your power shows them their own lack of it, and they haven't accepted that yet. They were taught to hide feelings, and your presence makes that hiding impossible. The contradiction you're experiencing is the war between the feeling and the blueprint, and your power is not the problem, it's the invitation to rise. The 10 of Wands showed the overwhelming weight of what you make them feel. The Empress confirmed who you are and why the avoidance happens. The Moon showed the full inner world that contradicts the external behavior. The 2 of Cups showed the destination if they do the work. The Hermit showed the work they need to do. The Eight of Cups showed the current choice of walking away instead. And the Star confirmed, the hope to tend is the one about you. And the tea leaves showed the texture, the avoidance pattern with the secret visible underneath. The moment of almost that you noticed, the work and whether they'll do it becoming clearer, you as catalyst, not problem. The cracks forming in the blueprint, and you staying at full power being exactly the right move. The avoidance is not rejection. Receive it as what it is. Don't make yourself smaller. Your power is protecting you. Their work is theirs to do. The powerful being you are was always the plan. All of it confirming you are a powerful being. The avoidance is the proof. And nothing about you needs to change. Claim this, loves. Drop a comment and say, I claim this, and I am a powerful being, and nothing about me needs to change. Because every word of that is true. Save this. Share it today, and drop a comment when the avoidance shifts. We want to know if this resonated. Please give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment, and tell me what hit hardest. And if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe and turn on that notification bell. Take care of yourself. Bye, loves.